Hi, friends, and welcome to Peace is Here. I'm your host, Avis Kalfsbeek. This is another episode in the Wolff Peace series, a journey through Robert Paul Wolff's 1966 anthology, Political Man and Social Man. In each episode, we pair one of the great political thinkers from Wolff's book with someone or some movement that lived peace as a daily radical practice. Together, they help us explore the tension between power and principle and what peace truly requires. The thinker, Paul Le Meur, 1902 to 1986. Today's thinker is Paul Le Meur, a relatively unknown French schoolteacher and philosopher whose deep personal essay, The Story of a Responsible Act, is part of Wolff's anthology. The essay recounts a harrowing moment during the Nazi occupation of France. Le Meur was ordered by German authorities to disclose which of his students were Jewish. Alone in his classroom, faced with this chilling demand, he chose not to comply. He simply said, "I do not know." It wasn't true, of course. He knew, but his refusal to name names became an act of conscience and an act of resistance. Le Meur doesn't portray himself as a hero. He reflects instead on the nature of moral responsibility. He asks, what does it mean to act ethically when the stakes are life and death? When the state demands obedience, is silence a form of peace or just another form of complicity? His story is hauntingly quiet. No banners, no marches, just one man alone with his conscience, choosing not to betray his students. Peace pairing, the people of Le Chambon-sur-Lignon. To match this deeply personal act, we turn not to an individual, but to a whole village. During the same war in the mountains of southern France, the Protestant town of Le Chambon-sur-Lignon did something extraordinary. Led by Pastor André Tracmé and his wife Magda, the villagers quietly sheltered thousands of Jews, especially children, from Nazi persecution. They offered food, forged documents, and smuggled people to safety. When asked why they risked their lives, the answer was simple: because it was right. The villagers didn't see themselves as brave. Like Le Meur, they saw their actions as ordinary decency. But that ordinary decency saved over 3,000 lives. In a time when silence was survival, Le Chambon chose to speak with actions. No announcements, just kindness forged in courage. Together, Paul Le Meur and the village of Le Chambon remind us that peace isn't always loud. Sometimes it's the quiet refusal to participate in cruelty, the stillness of conscience, the whisper of no. They teach us that to choose peace is to choose others, especially when it costs you something. Your peace questions to ponder. Big picture. When systems demand obedience, how can we cultivate the courage to dissent in ways that protect others? Day-to-day life. Are there small acts of conscience you can take this week, at work, in community, online, that signal your commitment to peace? That concludes this episode of Peace is Here. You can learn more at aviskalfsbeek.com, where I share updates on this podcast and my books. I write best friend activist short fiction in the Pedro the Water Dog Saves the Planet 6-book series, eco-adventure novellas for readers who care about justice, joy, and saving the world one story at a time. Coming up next, more thinkers, more peace pairings, and more bold questions from the Wolff Peace series. This episode is human narrated by me, but created with the help of AI, which has promised to let me know if it makes something up. So far, no confessions. But if you believe I've missed something, or if you just want to say hello, I'd love to hear from you. Podcast music is Dalai Lama Riding a Bike by Javier Peque Rodriguez. You'll find links to his music on Spotify and Bandcamp in the show notes. If you enjoyed this podcast, it really helps me if you subscribe on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen. A quick rating or review helps others discover peaceful, independent storytelling. And if you have a project that can use a calm, peaceful narrator, my cloned voice, Amaya Calm, is now available in the 11 Labs Voice Library. AMAYA Calm. The voice is designed to support storytelling that promotes peace and dignity. You can even have Amaya Calm read to you using the 11 Labs Reader app. She sounds like this. Peace is not something you wish for. It's something you make, something you do, something you are, and something you give away. John Lennon. If you haven't used 11 Labs yet, it helps me if you use the link in the show notes below. The link is try.11labs.io/peace, and 11 Labs is spelled out. I'll earn a small affiliate payment which supports my creative projects focused on peace. I'm Avis Kalfsbeek. Thank you again. Until next time, listen for the peace.